guy you mob.
And Brown wants to throw it. It's intercepted. Parrish down the sideline to the 10. 5. Touchdown! Minnesota Golden Gophers. The axe is in hand. It stays where it belongs in Minneapolis, Minnesota.
Welcome to the Rate Bowl Preview Show, presented by Cub, the official grocer of Gopher Athletics. Also brought to you by alumni-owned True North family of companies. Visit thetruenorthfamily.com. And by Tipsy Steer in High Pines, located at County Road C in Snelling. Proud sponsor of Gopher football. Here we go! Now, the voice of the Gophers, Mike M.
Yes, an exciting time of year. It's bowl season. It's the Bowl Football Preview Show, sponsored by Cub and a host of others. We thank them for their support, as always, of Gopher football postseason bowl trip. It's the Rate Bowl. It's December the 26th. It's Minnesota and New Mexico. It is a kickoff of 3:30 Minnesota time. We'll take air at 1:30, and we have the man of the hour, the head coach, PJ Fleck, with us here on campus. And always fun this time of year, and busy this time of year for you, huh?
Busy this time of year, yeah. Not much going on.
No.
It's kind of interesting. We were talking at our press conference today, and we were talking a little bit about just how I think a lot of people don't understand like what actually happens right now in college football and what's happening in college athletics, let alone people who are still playing in like the CFP and hunting for a national championship. You got the portal right around the corner. We're dealing with contracts with our players and agents. You're bowl prepping. You're getting ready to go on the road recruiting, and then the portal opens. I mean, it's unbelievable. It's like having a whole NFL offseason in like a month. You know what I mean? It with not many rules.
Yeah.
So you can imagine like how busy we are. And how many things that every day come up that you're like, wow, okay, haven't seen that one before.
Yeah.
Which makes it really exciting as well.
And we could probably do this entire hour program on portal and retention and who's coming, who's going, and we won't do that. But I do have a couple of questions because I think
make for great radio.
Yeah, it would. And I know there's been some coaches that have talked about, I think some people thought the solution was let's just make it a one window in January. And everyone will wait till January. But there's ways that word gets out. There's ways that agencies get a hold of people. And so that hasn't solved that part of the issue, has it?
I mean, it's kind of like saying that, hey, now that you have a zone when you line up for the airport for the plane, you'll stay in your seat till the zone. Like that doesn't make any sense. Yeah. All that makes you want to do is get on the plane even faster.
Yeah,
if I'm in zone 2, then shoot, I'm gonna get up when it's zone 1.
Yeah.
If it's zone 3, I'm getting up when it's zone 4. Or when if I'm in zone 4, I'm getting up in zone 3. That's all it's done.
Yeah.
So we've always known there's always been those types of things going on, especially since agents have been involved. I think there's a lot of things that are already set up by the time a player already goes in there, but I do love the one portal system.
Yeah.
I really do.
It's basically one window January.
One window in January.
After that, you're set.
You're set. And, there's always some changes here and there. But, other than that, your roster, which we couldn't even know our roster till the summer last year. So talking about building teams, and I've learned this though is that you have to keep adapting. There's no sense ever complaining about it because the one thing that's always stayed the same in college football is everything's changed, and everything keeps changing, and it will keep changing. So you better be able to adapt to it. And especially when you've been somewhere going on 10 years, you it's not what you did when you first got here, and it's not like you're a new staff over the last year or two where it's always just started as new. This is something that you have to continue to adapt to, and I'm really proud of our staff, and especially losing 9 guys to the NFL last year who are on NFL rosters, and this year being able to be 7-5 and be a game or two away from being 9 wins, and we'll learn from those experiences. But when you look at us across the board, pretty young, pretty inexperienced at a lot of key positions that with a lot of guys that we retained and signed, and we should be way more experienced next year.
In general terms, because I know you, even with all the stuff, you can't talk maybe specific, and I know you're asked about this in your news conference as well this week. Retention wise, that's one of the things that can happen now. You can say, hey, so and so, can you come back? You want to have that idea of what your roster is going to look like as you head into this portal window. So how has that generally gone for you, if you can comment at all?
Yeah, recruit, develop, retain, develop, repeat.
Yeah,
that's what you have to be able to do. I think we've done a really good job of retaining a lot of our key players. We're almost there. to where I can feel really confident about who's coming back and who isn't. There's a few up in the air that we're working on right now to get done, but I think everybody in the country has that. I think we're ahead of the game a little bit. Just in terms of the retention piece, recruiting has gone really well. Signing our first top 25 class, which was huge for us. That was a huge success for us in the high school ranks. And then as we get to the portal, we'll know exactly what we need once we kind of finish up here in the next few days with some retention. But I feel really good about where we're at, and it's taken a lot of people working incredibly hard to get to this point. That's for sure. Garrett, Marcus, their whole staffs, our coaching staff. You just had to be able to do a lot of things that maybe the job description didn't have in there a few years ago.
Yeah. And again, we have to talk in general terms, but in regard to all the different things at hand, discussions with players, I suppose, can involve, well, you may have an NFL future. Do maybe some kid wants to try that now, and then you have to talk to him about that. Maybe there's a kid who's on the depth chart that is looking at it and saying, I don't know if I'm going to get on the field. Maybe now you have a discussion about that. Is it a conversation that has to be one that there's a reason there's a portal there? Maybe that's for you. And then there's a guy that, guys that we need this guy back. We have to have a conversation about that. How do you as a coach handle, and maybe there's more options than just the three I presented, but it seems to me that those are the general ones. And how do you handle that as a head coach and a staff?
Everybody's treated fairly, not equally in this program because we're all different. Yeah. We all learn differently. We all have a different rate of how we learn. We all have a different vision and goal for our own lives. We all come from a different place. So everybody has a conversation with me, and we sit down and talk about what their goals are, what they want to do. A lot of guys we know it's between NFL and here. It might be between here and dropping down a level. Might be from here and just they're going to stay no matter what. They might hear and want to transfer because maybe they won't play. It's very transparent, honest communication and conversations, which are very difficult to have. They're just very difficult to have because everybody wants the truth until you get the truth. And the great thing about it, though, is, going on 10 years being here, I always tell our players, too, you don't ever have to worry about, you don't have to pay me anything. There's no percentage head coaches take from their players. And so at the end of the day, we're going to tell you what we hear, what's best for you, what we can provide for you, how we can make that all work. And if it fits within what you want, then let's make that work. But the great thing about it is there used to be this old saying of of course they want you to come back, or of course they want you to stay, because why wouldn't the coach? Of course, coach gets another job and the coach makes it. We've been here a long time.
Yeah.
And it's not about their making our lives better. It's about us making their lives better. And when you look at it, even on paper, there's nothing that they're doing to make our lives better when it comes down to winning or losing or paying us a percentage or having to make us feel like they made the right decision. We just want to give them all the information possible that they can be able to say, hey, you know what? At the end of the day, 10 years from now, when they look back on that and say, they didn't lie to me. They told me exactly how it was. And whether it turned out that way or not, they gave me that type of opinion. And I think that's what, as a coach, you should be able to take them to where they are, to where they want to be, and give them the best advice possible and hope that not only do they listen to that, but they take it back to their surrounding family support system that they've chosen, and those people truly, truly want what's best for that student athlete as well. Because we know as you go through this, there's a lot of factors that can start coming into play. That can maybe sway some of those decisions, and you just hope that everybody truly keeps the focus on the student athlete.
And now things have changed to the point where maybe, as you mentioned, 6 years ago when you first got here, a kid says, "I want to be in the NFL," and then you give him advice. You give him your opinion. Maybe he gets advice from scouts or whatever, and says, "You'll be a 5th round pick." I'll just make it up, 6th round pick. Well, maybe for that situation, that's the best for you. Well, now there's money in a pot of money that a college can make it attractive to say, I'm going to pass up being a 5th round pick because I can make sometimes close or more than that kind of money staying and enjoying college and being part of a program for another year or what have you. So how has that changed the dynamic as well?
Well, I think it's changed the dynamic a lot because the amount of money that gets thrown around in college athletics right now is massive. And I don't know, we do everything we possibly can to educate in our off-season program, during our life program, especially during our finance classes, of what the average American makes. Okay, you want to be a teacher. Here's what you're going to start out making. Okay, and there's not like, hey, I can go to this school and make $1 million teaching because this school pays more. Let's just say on an average what a teacher salary makes, right? Okay, and let's say here's what a beginning lawyer makes, or here's what a beginning, here's all the years of being a doctor it takes, or here's what being, an engineer is, right? So we give them all these, like, this is what it's going to take to start. Because I don't know if every student athlete understands how much money they're being presented with and how that can change the rest of their life, because they're still 18 to 22. If I told you how much money, like $300,000, let's say just that, but when you're 18 years old, you'd be like, wow, that's a lot of money. I don't even know how much money that is until you have it or don't have it or have to give half of it to taxes. Like, you don't know until you have it.
I'd take it now if you want to.
But that's my point. You would take it now.
Exactly.
So you're taking this whole experience of life and education of life that you and I both have, and you're saying, okay, well, we got to speed all that education up over the course of 20, 30 years of education, of making good financial decisions and not making good financial decisions, appreciating the dollar, what it takes to make a dollar, and if it's all gone tomorrow, how you can take that money and still use it for the rest of your life. Investing that money, saving that money. And because there's a lot of things in life that are unpredictable. But if we do everything we can to make sure that they understand those things, and then hopefully they're making good decisions from that. So that's all you can ask for.
Yeah.
But I think that when we're talking the amount of money we're talking about, I think people just throw it around to throw it around like it's just monopoly money. And I don't know if we ever, and when you get it that early, that's why I think almost 3 out of 4 NFL players, 3 years removed from the NFL, are bankrupt.
Yeah.
And they're older than these student athletes. So we have to work incredibly hard. And whether they want to hear that or not hear that, it's education. And what you do with your education is a choice. So our guys are very educated and, for the most part, make really, really good decisions.
Yeah.
But we got to continue to find creative ways to keep educating, that's for sure.
How would you split up, what would you guess, this month of December, preparing for the bowl game, retention, high school signing day, recruiting? How would you put your percentages on how your time's divided now?
All of it.
Yeah.
It deserves all of it.
Yeah.
It even before we had our radio show, right? We're kind of getting ready to come in here, right? And meet with a player for an hour unexpectedly, right? And again, it's not, hey, coach, my girlfriend broke up with me. There are other conversations, sure. and that was not planned. But those are the things that can not derail you, but take you down a different path throughout the day. You have to have amazing people around you. Garrett Chernoff, Marcus Hendrickson, our coaches, they've done a really good job of compartmentalizing what we are going to do right now, but not saying we're not willing to adapt that if something comes up. And I think that's where you have to really be fluid through this process, that you're not like, hey, we're only doing this today and this doesn't matter. You just said a typical day, whether it's the agent contracts with our players, whether that's the bowl game, whether that's our development, whether that's recruiting, getting ready for the portal. We do all of that every day. Just, I can't give you a percentage of what it is, because those percentages lean a different way depending on which day it is. And some days you walk in here and think it's going to be one percentage, and it goes the complete opposite way. And where before maybe you'd be like, I'm not going to do that.
Yeah.
Now you roll with it and you allow that to happen. Or you could be a head coach that says, my coaches only coach, and they only recruit high school players. And that's the only thing they're going to do. Forget relationships, forget transformational, forget life program. They're going to do football. These people are just going to deal with the students. There's people doing that. We are not going to do that. We are a true life program where there's just more added to it, and you just have to be able to be willing to adapt a little bit. But nothing's more relevant than the sign in my office. It talks about this job. It says, this job is constant crisis interrupted by brief success. And that is exactly what we're doing right now. And it's not, this constant success interrupted by brief chaos. It's opposite in crisis. So it's very unique. It fits my personality really well.
Yeah, you're right on it. I didn't know if we'd ever see the day, and I'm not even making a judgment on it, and I don't know if you guys will do this or not, but yesterday there was a couple of schools that I saw on my timeline. They tweeted out current players that they had signing contracts, and it said re-signed. And we've seen that in the NFL, right? A draft pick signs the contract or whatever.
Free
agent. Nice, free agent. In essence, everyone, I guess for you, is a free agent at some point during a time of year at any point. And again, I'm not making the judgment. I just didn't know if I'd ever see that become part of a deal where you're showing pictures of college kids saying, signed, re-signed, here they are, they're part of the deal. It's pretty amazing to me.
I think there's a good piece of that, and then there's also this dangerous piece of that. And I think that just depends on the individual of what they're willing to take on expectation-wise. Because I think that, when we share your life socially, people want to have privacy, and they don't want that to be criticized, but they put it socially. Well, it's just like our media. Whatever I say right now on the radio show is going out there, right? It's not, let's just keep that piece private, what I just said before. Let's not put that out there. It's out there. And I think that there are some advantages of that, and then there's also some dangerous roads that we're going down that maybe we haven't just seen yet that have a lot of responsibility behind it in a lot of different ways, from safety to the financial piece to the expectation piece, from the betting piece, from the gambling piece. Like there's a lot of tentacles on this thing that, again, that's where I feel like the NFL has this great feel and grip of this. And that there's a reason it's systematically designed from the calendar and the rules perspective that it has. And from every detail. And college football just doesn't have that. NFL's regulated. We're kind of regulated, I guess. But are we? So it's really a unique time. And I'm not complaining. Because I think behind anything that's new that you're adapting to, there's education behind it. As long as you're just not throwing your hands up, I think it's great education for our players. But when you're creating something as fast and as big as we're creating it, it's like AI. AI is a great tool, but it's also dangerous if you're not using it for all the right things and there's not an education behind it. The internet, when it first came out, it's a great tool, but if you use it the wrong way, there's a lot of things. It's the same thing we're doing here, because this is a monster of how big this is. And if there's not education backing it up, and keeping it at the foundation, there's a lot of lives who are going to be ruined. And it's unfortunate, because these are still student athletes and young people.
Yeah, no doubt about it. All right, let's take our first break. We're going to talk about the bowl game. We'll do that when we come back. It's the Rate Bowl Preview Show. It's Gopher Football Weekly with PJ Fleck from Learfield.
Golden Gopher men's hockey is back at 3M Arena at Mariucci for the 2025-26 season, and single game tickets are on sale now. Don't miss out on any of the action. Get your tickets at gophersports.com.
Toyota-thon, Toyota-thon, Toyota-thon is on. Oh, what fun it is to drive a new Toyota today. Hey, Jan from Toyota here, reminding you Toyota-thon is on. Make your holiday wishes come true with the new Camry, RAV4, Tacoma, and more. All right, let's sing it together this time. Toyota-thon, Toyota-thon, Toyota-thon is
Dealer
on.
inventory may vary. Toyota-thon ends January 5th. See your participating dealer for details. Toyota, let's go places.
Visit the University of Minnesota Bookstore, your destination for the area's largest selection of U of M and Golden Gopher apparel, gifts, and novelties for fans of all ages. From the latest styles to timeless favorites, it's your one-stop shop for all things Gophers. And when you shop here, you're giving back, because every purchase directly supports the University of Minnesota. Stop by our campus location or shop anytime online at bookstores.umn.edu. Go Gophers!
Gopher fans, when you want to get around Gold Country safely, securely, and on time, call Carey Minneapolis St. Paul. Carey Limousines, a global leader in business travel, offering a world-class fleet and reservation staff who make sure you arrive on time, every time. The team's available 24/7, so give them a call whenever you're ready to travel. 612-623-0565, or visit the webpage, CareyMPLS.com. And go Gophers!
Spiral Catan, here we expand. We've got the birds, first, second, third. From soup to nuts, save a few bucks. Who's bringing wine? 12 should be fine. Anything you could ever think of. To food, snacks, and holiday drinks. Happy, 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 happy Christmas. Happy, 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 happy Christmas.
This season, don't just shop. Shop Cub and shop happy. Holidays.
Shop Spirally, shop Nuttily, shop Literally, shop Cubberly, shop happy.
Do you know how plastic bottles become shirts, shoes, or backpacks? What happens when your recyclables leave your curb? Can they really become something new? Visit WM.com to learn how WM helps turn your plastic bottles into everyday products, giving materials a second life. WM has the recycling infrastructure, innovation, and expertise to serve our Twin Cities community and care for our planet. The recycling process starts and ends with you. Visit WM.com to learn more.
The human heart. It doesn't take days off, or hours, minutes, or seconds for that matter. It just keeps beating in steadfast, unrelenting service to each of us. So when your heart needs medical care, doesn't it deserve the most advanced treatments available, delivered by nationally recognized physicians and surgeons? Show your heart some love. Take it to mHealth Fairview. Visit mhealthfairview.org/heartcare to learn more.
Are you looking for concert or sports tickets? As a local Minnesota company, Ticket King is a company you can trust. They have seats to fit every budget and even offer parking or tailgating passes, and all tickets are guaranteed. Each order is personally attended to by one of our dedicated customer service representatives who are committed to providing you with a courteous, professional, quick, convenient experience. Visit us at TicketKingOnline.com or call us directly at 612-341-4131.
The game against Rutgers on September 27th recognized the 13th annual Celebrate Ag and Food Day at Huntington Bank Stadium. Both the game broadcast and the presentation inside the stadium celebrated the tireless efforts in the agriculture industry. The Gophers would like to thank the following participating sponsors: Ag Country Farm Credit Services, Minnesota Biofuels Association, Minnesota Corn Growers Association, Minnesota Pork Board, and the University of Minnesota's College of Food, Agricultural, and Natural Resource Sciences for their continued support.
It's the year-end sales event with the Ford crew.
It's sales event time, Sam.
Temperatures are dropping, but the deals are just getting hot.
Time for our annual Ford Holiday Gift Guide.
Oh, yeah.
Hard to go wrong with great deals on trucks and SUVs from Ford, America's all-time best-selling auto brand.
Don't forget the first rule of holiday gift giving, Hank.
What's that, Sam?
Always remember to treat yourself, too.
Well said.
Based on Automotive News Almanac historical data and industry-reported sales data from 1909 through 2024 CY.
Gopher men's basketball is back. It's the first season under head coach Nico Medved, and the action is heating up at Williams Arena. Experience the energy of the barn all season long. Get your tickets now at gophersports.com. It's more Gopher Football Weekly with PJ Fleck, the Rate Bowl preview show. And we want to thank Cub, the official grocer of Gopher Athletics, for their sponsorship of the Rate Bowl broadcast here on the Gopher Sports Network. Cub has been a proud supporter of Gopher Athletics for over 20 years. And, Coach, you always, I know, like to tip your cap to the great folks at Cub. They helped with the turkey drive, amongst all the other things, the Cub Cares program over the years. Every now and then I'll walk into a Cub and I see a cardboard cutout of PJ Fleck standing there, asking for there
hasn't been one in a while, I don't think.
But I've seen it before at the Cub. But they do a great job and big supporters for sure.
Yeah, Kerry Higgs at Cub is just a huge supporter of Gopher Athletics and especially Gopher football. And anytime we ever need anything, especially for our turkey drive, gave over I think 600 plus turkeys and meals. The week of Wisconsin. I think that just shows like we're talking about. You're in the most important week of the season. You're in rivalry week. It's cold. It's snowing. The entire team's out there on the street here throughout our complex here and handing out turkeys and singing Christmas songs and holiday songs and spreading joy. And this is of game week, in the middle of game week after practice.
Yeah.
I mean, that just says everything. And then Kerry Higgs and Cub Foods and their sponsorship of us and them just anytime we ever ask them for anything, they're just like, yes, how many? And I just think that's so powerful when you have partners that way, and can't thank them enough.
Yeah, it's never a bad night when you see Jackson Howard in a turkey costume, right?
Well, they got all types of costumes. They got turkey costumes. They were dressed as like peach cobbler.
Yeah,
they were dressed as
pilgrims. I think
pilgrims. We had like a mashed potatoes. I think too. Yeah, there was all types of stuff.
It was fun for sure. Well, it was pretty fun winning that Wisconsin game too on your birthday for a second straight year.
Yeah, after last year. 2 years ago at Wisconsin, it was my birthday.
Black Friday.
Yeah, and it was like, okay. And Heather's like, well, next year it won't be. because we're playing on Saturday. We usually play them on Friday. Well, this year we played them on Saturday, and it happened to be my birthday again.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, because it really depends on what kind of birthday you have. Do you get the axe, and is the birthday great that night, or is birthday just miserable, where you feel like empty, So it was not to let the circumstance dictate our behavior, but it's my birthday, and I get to pick how I want to spend it, right? So darn it.
Yes, exactly.
It's my party, and I'll cry if I want to.
Yeah, or in this case, celebrate.
It
is, yeah, absolutely it is. But
we didn't have to worry about it.
You celebrated.
We celebrated. Yeah. We had a great night that night. And Heather brought a bunch of, and there, after the game, people don't know this, but she brought in a few of my friends from just different places. They don't live here. A few of my friends. And I was like, but what if we didn't win? Because they ran up to me on the field storming. That's where they surprised me.
Oh, man.
And I was like, but what if we didn't win? And you brought all these people here. You know me after a game. I'm not necessarily like the greatest hang after the game if we don't win. I'm not as fun. I'm just not. She's like, that was a risk I was willing to take. And I was like, that's why I married her.
She had confidence. Awesome. She had confidence.
She did. She willed it to happen.
4 of 5 in that series, which is, I know, a great thing. And as we're on the show here, we're in the football complex. You walk into that entryway down there, and you see that axe and that trophy case. That never gets old. Not a day does that get old.
Ever.
Yeah.
I come in through that door when I'm doing different media stuff and going over to the other building and come back through that door, and it's a great sight to see every time you walk in there.
For sure. And I think you've talked about it during even that week. The rivalry is only a rivalry if you can win it a few times. And now 4 out of 5, that makes it an even fiercer rivalry because the folks to the east now are, hey, we got to get that thing back. So, another year here and hopefully more after that. But that what makes that Thanksgiving week pretty fun.
Yeah, it does. And then when you look at the history of the rivalry, it's 64, 63, and 1.
8, I think.
Or
yeah.
8? Okay.
Yeah.
All right, so 64, 63, and 8. So take out the 8 ties, 64 and 63. Think about that. Like,
it's
you're
crazy.
one game off.
I mean, there's no way that can be possible.
Of 127 of those games that are 135 of them.
Yeah.
127 of them.
Yeah.
We're almost split right down the middle.
And 8 were. 8 were tied.
Incredible.
I mean, think about that.
It truly is incredible.
Yeah.
And I'm just very grateful every day to be a part of that rivalry and never take that for granted.
Yeah, fun day with the snow and
especially when it snowed.
When it snowed, and then the fourth quarter. I know I asked you about this on recruiting day. Because you were busy, you had things going on there in the fourth quarter. But once it was pretty apparent that the Gophers are going to keep the axe, they were playing music in the commercial or in the TV timeouts, and the whole stadium. It's like a big karaoke bar. 40,000 people singing Piano Man. It was this euphoric sense. It was just incredible.
How great was that?
Yeah.
That's what, it was funny because, I got a chance to watch some football, the later on in the day. And there's a lot of people that had the same type of weather, and there's nobody in the stands.
Yeah.
And our fans, 50,000, stayed all the way to the very end.
Yeah, and the students were incredible.
Incredible.
Yeah.
I mean, incredible, a whole game. And I'm just so proud that, when we first got here, we said this is what type of environment we want to continue to create and keep. And they have come through all year. Our students all year were exceptional. Our band was exceptional all year. Our fans, our season ticket holders, incredible all year. And we end up being 7-0 at home.
Yeah.
And it takes them to create that home field advantage that you want to have. That it's a very difficult place to play. We know all the difficult places to play. That if somebody asked you of all the experience.
With the head coach, P.J. Fleck, and we want to thank our great friends at True North Family of Companies, alumni-owned. True North M&A serves business owners with companies generating up to $250 million in revenue, and they should be on your team roster if you are selling your business. Understand your options and maximize your results quietly and confidentially. Visit tnma.com, and they've been a season-long supporter of our show and great supporters of Gopher Athletics and the football team as well with our buddy Brian Slipka and company.
He's awesome.
Yeah.
We usually have a meeting, me and Slipka, probably once every 2 weeks in season.
Yeah.
And it's almost like a therapy session for both of us. and I just kind of sneak out for about 20, 30 minutes, see him. His office is right down the road.
Yeah.
So sneak him, come on back. And I think it's good for both of us. But he's what a amazing guy that's got his hands seem to be in everything.
Yeah.
And all types of companies and businesses. And He's taking care of a lot of our former players, and who are doing very well for him right now too. So that's a great connection for the future as well.
Yeah, no doubt. All right, let's talk about the Rate Bowl, December the 26th, day after Christmas. We'll start with that because you guys leave on Sunday, and so you guys will be, technically away from home for the holidays, so to speak. But I know that there's also an aspect that the team wants to be together over the holidays. A lot of the families of the coaching staff come down as well, and kind of take us through that part of it.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's really important, one, that everybody knows, like, we love playing in bowl games, and this is going to be tremendous for our football program. And I'm looking at the weather right now, which is great. So, I mean, we leave Sunday at 78, Monday 79, Tuesday 74, Wednesday 73.
Nothing wrong with that.
I think it's supposed to rain the rest of the week, but we're indoors.
Yeah,
so as long as we don't have any parachuters.
Keep that roof closed.
Yeah. Or feel free to throw it open. I don't care.
Yeah,
last time they put it open.
Yeah, that's true.
But I think they learned from their past. They'll probably keep that thing closed. But I think it's such a great time. I love when the bowl games are on the 26th because we all get kind of the holiday together the day before the game, and everybody's already had the bowl festivities and activities, and now you're kind of focusing on the game where it's, Christmas morning and everybody's kind of together throughout Christmas Day. Nobody's alone. The families are there. The kids are there. Our players are there. Their families are there. I think it's just a wonderful bonding experience. Then you play the next day, and, then you're on to 2026. But we're very thankful to be back in the Rate Bowl just because they take such good care of you when you're there.
Yeah, I'm asking you this question. I didn't ask ahead of time, so I'm in danger of maybe not for sure what the answer is going to be here. Not that I always know your answer, but I saw it firsthand in New York when we were out there when you and Heather gave the coaching staff kids and the kids that were on the trip over Christmas and the holidays presents. And we had kids riding scooters around in the lobby. We had Nerf basketball hoops up in the lobby. It was so cool. And so I'm assuming you still do that. I probably should have asked before I asked.
Yeah, if you asked it, I didn't. Boy, what a Grinch.
Yeah, Grinch over here.
Scrooge.
But I thought that was one of the, honestly, and I mean this in all sincerity, watching those kids, and they weren't like little trinket presents. These were like nice gifts, and their eyes light up. They're on the road. It's one of the coolest things I've seen in my time covering Gopher athletics.
Well, as I said before, we're all in this together. We're all rowing the boat together. And whether it's the coaches, whether it's our support staff, administration, or all of our families, everybody's involved in this thing. And this is our livelihood. This isn't a hobby. And so everybody has to sacrifice something to do this job. And Heather and I believe that, we not only have our own 4 children, right, to be parents to, but also we look at all of our players as part of our family, and then a lot of our coaches' families. Coach Nickel has been with us the whole time, and he's got 4 daughters, and we've known them. Coach Nickel before they didn't have any kids, and now you're seeing his daughters. So it's a tradition Heather and I love to do. Great, now everybody's going to expect that. We like to make it a surprise, but no, you're okay. But what we do is we always ask the parents too. Like, it's not Heather and I saying, you know what? I think little Johnny would like a scooter, and I think little Susie would like a doll. We're not Santa, but what we are is we always ask our coaches, hey, what does your son or daughter want? Let us help you out with that, and let's go get them that gift. And it's so fun because on Christmas, our players, this is part of football, but the young kids that have to kind of do football or do the holidays a little different, they can still have Christmas. They can still have that holiday that morning. And I think we all do it together as a team, which is great. And they all open it at once. And it's hilarious because you have 40-some little kids who some are patient, some are not patient. And they are ready to rip into these gifts. And we all kind of do a little countdown. Our players are there. The kids rip into the gifts. And it brings that sense of that holiday spirit into that room and into something that you have to adapt a little bit. But you can still have it on that day.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
It's a lot of fun.
No doubt. All right, the game itself, in terms of getting ready, we've spent most of the show talking about all the other stuff that you're dealing with. Let's talk about the game prep, bowl prep. You've talked about it in the past that some of this is a celebration of 2025. Some of it's a precursor to what you're going to see in 2026 with spring ball just, a mere months away. How has the bowl prep been going now as you're, a little less than a week away from kickoff?
Yeah, right now we're in kind of we're all in New Mexico all the time. So we've got 4 total practices right now, and we kind of do a group practice, which is more of a walkthrough practice, then a practice, then a walkthrough practice, then a practice, and then we leave. And we have a rule that all cards, all practice scripts, everything is done prior to going out to the bowl trip. So our coaches have been working the last few weeks. Once we knew our opponent, we went on to New Mexico, and when you look at the whole week, the week 1 is always Minnesota versus Minnesota. Week 2 we start bringing our other players back. Week 1, young guys. Week 2, Minnesota versus Minnesota, we bring our older guys back in. And then week 3, we're in, and that's New Mexico planning and getting ready for that. And then we always do the bowl site just like we normally do during a week. So we're going out there Sunday, which is technically the players' day off Monday of game week because we play on a Friday. So then we just go ahead and plug and play from there.
Yeah, very into the routine you always have then once you get down there.
Yeah, our administration has been tremendous. They're allowing us to go down there 2 days early, which allows us to stay in the, Monday is travel day, technically the player's day off. You don't practice anyway. And then that Monday is technically a Tuesday that next day. So we're using Monday as that Tuesday, and that Tuesday is that Wednesday, and then we're in game week. So it's it keeps like the schedule as close to a game schedule as you can possibly have.
I was lucky enough, Drake Lindsay was on my podcast last week, and he talked about his growth and different things, and I'll ask you about that. But the first thing I want to ask you about is he said that one of the areas he grew the most, he thought, in his time was that week where it was young guys, and he got all the reps of bowl practice before Max then kind of got back in it, and the importance of that. He said that was the week he kind of said, all right, this is kind of a baton passing off. I'm paraphrasing a little, but basically he talked about that. So take me through the theory on that. Obviously it paid off because Drake had a nice year and all of that stuff, but of getting the young guys that week and then letting the guys who just beat their brains out for 13 weeks kind of decompress, right?
It really is, and we have some guys playing in the game. We have some guys not playing in the game, but you want to give everybody a little time to just kind of relax a little bit. They've earned that right. By going to a bowl game. Remember, going to a bowl game is a good thing.
Yes.
And it's earned. Yes. It's fun. You don't want them to be like, I got to go to a bowl game. Our guys have never done that, which I give them credit. There's a lot of guys who have NFL aspirations and, have decided not to do that, but I don't blame them for that. That's their decision. That's why it's a celebration of 25, but it's the start of 26. So there's a lot of guys who maybe didn't play in the 25 season that will play in that bowl game in 26. Will play in the bowl game, which is their start of 26. And that was kind of where Drake was, where that first week of last year's bowl prep was so important for his 25 season. And it was priceless for us because he got, 8 to 10 days where it was his offense. And that's where you saw, I think, the most growth in terms of being able to capture everybody in January, even though he hadn't played yet. It was, hey, I'm going to be the leader of this football team and work really hard at it. Now, he's going to be a way better leader in 26 than he was in 25, but that kind of got it started.
Yeah. And he did, in the podcast, mention he's back next year, which I know is good news, and he's obviously going to play in the bowl game and all those things. So, and I know it's still a process with the rest of the roster, but in general, that's good news, right? Your quarterback from 25 is back for 26.
It's a hell of a lot better than him saying I'm not coming back. But he's just such an amazing young man.
It's incredible, yeah.
He truly is, and he's so mature beyond his years. I'm not saying he doesn't have to keep maturing, but he is very mature past his years, and he's done it in a short amount of time. Where there's a picture on our patio where you see him and I and his dad on his recruiting visit, and you're looking at that picture and you're like, is that even the same kid? And that was just a year and a half to 2 years ago. And physically, mentally, emotionally, he's just matured so much. And you feel really good about, you're looking at these as, these aren't just, it's not just year in, year out, you're just going to play. These are deals too, right? So you got to feel good on your end as a coach, and they got to feel good on their end as a player. And when the deal's done, you feel like, you know what? If we're going to do that deal, thank goodness he's getting that deal, because it couldn't happen to a better kid, better family. And that's what you find a lot of like peace in this is like, all right, it's happened to a really good kid. It's kind of when it goes the other way that I know a lot of people on the outside struggle with. So I'm glad we don't have a lot of those issues. So it's he's a tremendous leader for our football team.
Yeah, and he commented that this is the place he wants to be. He likes the culture. He likes his coaching staff. He likes the offense. He thinks that's the offense that's going to help him develop not just for Minnesota, but his possible pro career down the line too.
Yeah, we just listen to Drake. And whatever Drake wants, he gets. But when you think about it, like I said this weeks ago, somebody asked me, I think it was in the president, said, yeah, he has a lot of input. Of course, your quarterback should have input. When the type of responsibility we're putting on these young people, they should have even more of a voice than they had before, especially if we're going to be talking these contracts and the money they're having, because what much is earned or given is much is expected. So I want to help them develop that way. where they can have those hot conversations. They can be open and talk to you about how they feel. But Drake's a great fit here. And I think that's where, at the end of the day, it's not about the money. I'm sure people would have probably paid him more. But it was the fit here, where he could grow on the field, he could grow off the field. His family's a great fit here. He's being developed in the system that he wants to be able to create an NFL quarterback. Mm-hmm. When you look at all the quarterbacks that we've had here in different systems, this system's produced the one that, got an NFL start.
Yeah.
When you look at it, right? Now, I know it wasn't as good as what people wanted, but that was the first start of his career against the top 3 defense in the NFL. So, but it's, when you look at it, this is the type of system that allows Drake within his skill sets to maximize that to his ability. And he won the most games as a freshman, or in Gopher history as a freshman, right? Our freshman record of how many wins a freshman has won. That's a huge accomplishment. And to keep watching him develop within this offensive system that works complementary with our defense and special teams, I think watching him, Coach Harbaugh, really grow together has been fun to watch.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, we're going to talk about New Mexico, the opponent. We'll get a bit of scouting report from the head coach, PJ Fleck, on that. Stay with us. It's the Rate Bowl Preview Show. It's Gopher Football Weekly with PJ Fleck, sponsored by Cub from Learfield.
Toyota-thon, Toyota-thon, Toyota-thon is on. Oh, what fun it is to drive a new Toyota today. Hey, Jan from Toyota here, reminding you Toyota-thon is on. Make your holiday wishes come true with a new Camry, RAV4, Tacoma, and more. All right, let's sing it together this time. Toyota-thon, Toyota-thon, Toyota-thon is
Dealer inventory may vary. Toyota-thon ends January 5th. See your participating dealer for details. Toyota, let's go places.
The game against Rutgers on September 27th recognized the 13th annual Celebrate Ag and Food Day at Huntington Bank Stadium. Both the game broadcast and the presentation inside the stadium celebrated the tireless efforts in the agriculture industry. The Gophers would like to thank the following participating sponsors: Ag Country Farm Credit Services, Minnesota Biofuels Association, Minnesota Corn Growers Association, Minnesota Pork Board, and the University of Minnesota's College of Food, Agricultural, and Natural Resource Sciences for their continued support.
You can guarantee yourself a Minnesota maroon and gold win when you sell your business with Sunbelt Business Advisors. Sunbelt is a local alumni-owned company and proud sponsor of Gopher Athletics. Sunbelt provides business owner brokerage services to small businesses, as well as mergers and acquisition services for companies up to $150 million in revenue. Are you thinking about selling? Sunbelt can help you make the most from your life's work. Visit sunbeltminnesota.com for a free confidential value range. Minnesota's largest seller of companies. sunbeltminnesota.com.
Spiral Catan, if you will expand, we've got the birds, first, second, third, from soup to nuts, save a few bucks, who's bringing wine, 12 should be fine, anything you could ever think of, to food, snacks, and holiday drinks, happy, 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 happy Christmas, happy, 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 happy Christmas.
This season, don't just shop. Shop Cub and shop happy. Holidays.
Shop spirally, shop Natalie, shop Miss Lily, shop Cubberly, shop happy.
Our in-studio producer, Paul Rovnak with Gopher Communications, Garrett Chernoff and Chandler Bunning with Gopher Football. And this time of year, there's always moving parts, so we appreciate everybody's hard work in getting the show put together and on the air. The New Mexico Lobos are your opponent, PJ Fleck. So what do we know about the Lobos?
Yeah, Coach X had a heck of a season with this team. 9 wins, and I'm sure they want their 10th. And, they blew out UCLA, played Michigan really tough, 1-to-1 possession games, blew out a lot of guys in their conference. So this is a team that's playing really, really well, really hard. They play together. They do a lot of the small things really well, but they run the football a ton in a really creative way. They always keep you off balance, and they try to outnumber you, and they do a really good job of that. And when they have to throw it, they throw it, and they got really good receivers and a good quarterback, and he can throw it, and he can run it. So you got to be really honest. And on defense, they just swarm to the football. All 11 understand how they all fit with each other, and special teams is that bridge. So they got a really good football team, that's for sure, and I know they're fired up to play us in the bowl game.
As you kind of dive into it, because it was really you're thinking you're probably, when it looked like it was going to be this bowl game, the Rate Bowl, you're thinking Big 12, Iowa State, Kansas State, maybe TCU, who knows where it all trickles to, and then all of a sudden, boom, it's New Mexico. As you've now dived into the prep, it's been a fairly quick turnaround for them to go from not being that relevant for a while to being in this bowl game against a Big Ten team. What do you think Coach Eck has done there?
Well, I think he's done a great job of connecting that football team. I think he brought a lot of guys in through the transfer portal. When you look at their 2 deep, a lot of guys came in, a lot of guys are new, did a great job connecting that team, got a lot of really really good players from all over the country, some from Idaho, some from other places that he was at. So brought a ton of guys with and implemented into their systems and executed at a really high level and got them to play as a team. And belief's a really powerful thing. And once you can get that thing going, belief's really, really powerful. And you could tell they really love playing for him, and they believe.
And now, it's kind of regional for them, right? I think it's from Albuquerque to Phoenix, maybe 6-hour drive. So you'll and I know there's a lot of Gopher fans that will travel over the holidays to get down there, and there's some snowbirds down there. So this could be a pretty good atmosphere.
I think it's going to be a great atmosphere. I think it's going to be one of the most well-attended bowl games we've had from both opponents. So it's going to be a lot of fun to see what the atmosphere is like, that's for sure.
As you have the week now, when you get down there, you've got a spot where you go practice. Take me through the logistics there and how you try to make that a smooth operation.
Well, that's funny because we're having a staff meeting all about that here coming up. So I'd love Garrett to be able to tell us all the things that we're going to be able to do. But once we get down there, it's all about having time for the bowl piece where that's the fun piece. Celebrate. Also do stuff that the bowl has you do, especially the serving and giving piece. I think that's really critical in the bowl prep. But being down there for all the rate bowl responsibilities, but then also practicing. So we're practicing at a junior college, so there's some different things logistically we've got to be able to work with that. And then, having our meetings like we normally do, but then also having time to enjoy the Phoenix area. And I think our players, we're staying at the Wild Horse Pass, and that's a
beautiful. Yeah.
It's a great hotel, and anybody that's going out there, it's a great hotel if you're staying there, and it's kind of off the beaten path a little bit, which I love. They got a golf course right there, which is great, and then there's a little casino down the way as well. But there's a lot of things to do around that area. But I do like because it's off the beaten path a little bit where you don't get that hustle and bustle. You really feel like you're in the desert.
Yeah.
And I like that feeling.
I did ask Drake if he was going to try to get around to golf in, and he said he was not. So he's going to stick to football all week.
I have a hard time believing that. A guy who owns golf courses and who is a scratch golfer, I have a really hard time. And when he sees that course is right there across the street, I think he's going to have a hard time.
Will there be time, though, legit?
He'll be. Put it this way. There was one time last time we were there, that literally we got back in time for like another hour and a half of light. I think, Garrett, if you remember this. And then Garrett, we somehow called the pro shop. I got a cart, threw my clubs on the back, and I got around and threw Heather in the passenger seat. We just went, and there was nobody on the course at that time.
Yeah.
And but it was a little bit chillier.
Yeah.
And I must have got the whole round done in an hour and a half before it was dark. So
well, when you only take like 71 shots,
that could have been just the front. So especially this time of year.
Yeah.
It's funny when people talk about all the golf rounds. How much do you play in Minnesota? I'm like, not that much.
Not too much.
Not too much. No, not too much. Well, how don't you play too much? You see all that white stuff out there?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Find your golf ball.
Well, maybe he'll play, maybe not. Maybe you'll get a 90-minute session in at some point, too.
I don't know. I don't know about this one. I think we're going to enjoy some other things, so we'll see. But it's a great bowl game. They do a tremendous job.
Yeah, well, safe travels. We'll see you out there. Looking forward to it. The Gophers and New Mexico. It is December 26th. That's a week from Friday. We take air at 1:30. Kickoff Minnesota time is 3:30. Again, thanks to everybody. For the head coach, PJ Fleck, this has been Mike Grimm. This has been the Rate Bowl Preview Show. It's Gopher Football Weekly with PJ Fleck from Learfield.